Freaking cat over there.
Don't worry, I got it up. You ever have one of those times when you're like, okay, this one hit me the other day and I had to make a note of it, right?
Yeah, those are the best.
You ever have one of those times where you forget how to walk? Well, and I should say not so much that you forget how to walk, but that you start thinking about the fact that you're walking, and when you're like, it's like the breathing thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So yeah, like you like with the breathing thing. The joke is because like Sky says this all the time, like jokingly. She's like, "Oh, thought about breathing. Now I got to think about that all the
time." Yeah, you automatically. It's one of those. I can't remember the name for what that process is, but there's a name for it. The auto. Functioning process.
Like your brain just naturally does it for you.
And then it's like once you think that you breathe, you don't think about breathing. You have to think about breathing.
Take a back seat, brain. I'm in charge now.
We're dead.
And now I have to focus on breathing for the rest of my life. But like I was thinking about it the other day that I forget what it was that stirred that thought in me. I think I was watching somebody walk and they were just like really awkward. And I was like, I wonder if, I've had it happen to me before where like you're walking and then you start thinking about the fact that you're walking and you become acutely aware of how you walk. And so like for me, whenever that happens, I feel like I probably start walking way weirder. I'm trying to make sure that I'm like keeping everything in line.
It's like QWOP or like Octodad type thing where you're just like basically ragdolling through the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, your feet are like kicking out way too wide and stuff like that because you're just like I'm concentrating on it too much.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm ministry of silly walking right now.
Oh gosh, what? Maybe I'll save this for the next episode to bring up and stuff like that as a little thing. But I discovered a new channel on Facebook as far as like videos that the guy puts up. And they're really entertaining. But it kind of goes in line with this whole discussion that we're having to a degree.
Yeah. So on our way up, I was like, man, I got some gripes with Apple.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that.
So
careful where you tread. I'm a fanboy.
I know you are. So, kids being kids, like Mason, like absolutely utterly destroyed his phone. He claimed it, quote unquote, fell off the couch, but like, yeah. The entire it
fell 2.5 feet.
So if you picture an iPhone, the entire top of it was gone. Like the entire top of the screen was gone, and it was just shattered all the way down.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm like, okay.
Off the couch.
So it forcibly fell off of the couch because you don't have anger issues like your dad.
It fell off the couch when I yucked it at Carter's head.
Yeah, no, he was at his friend's house, but so I went through this whole rigmarole of just trying to get it fixed because I was like, couldn't remember the PIN number for our Asurion Verizon repair thing, so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll just go. There's a place there's a repair store at Walmart here in Wadsworth, and it's got like 230 reviews and all 5 stars.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it there.
It must be doing something. Okay.
Yeah. So go there. Dude that was working there was super nice.
Nice. I love that.
So he like gets the screen off. He puts the new one on and he plugs it in and his phone like instantly starts overheating.
Oh.
So he's like, I don't want to fix it because, you have another issue going on. Let me get a part. He ended up never calling me back. So ended up like hard resetting, the Verizon stuff and was able to get a new phone through Asurion. It came in a day. That is one thing that I like about Asurion is they usually will get it to you in like a day.
Right.
So I go to set his phone up yesterday. Teenagers being teenagers. I'm like, hey, do you remember your password?
What?
Yeah. Could not remember his password. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go through the account recovery and reset his password.
Yeah.
Guess what trusted phone number he had to reset his password?
His phone number?
His phone number.
Smart.
Guess what phone I could not use? His phone.
listen, man. Teenagers, they are the most intelligent human beings on the face of the planet.
So I was like, oh crap, how am I going to do this? So what I ended up doing to circumvent that whole thing was I ended up setting up his phone.
Yeah.
As like no Apple ID.
Okay.
And then once the phone number and everything reset, I was able to reset his password.
Okay.
Yeah, reset his
Smart.
password.
Look at you go.
But I had to use Perplexity to help me, like, walk me through like how to actually. Well, no, because I asked him. I said, "Is there any way to like reset an iPhone and then recover the password after?"
Right.
Because do you know what the account recovery process is if you don't have a clear path for Apple?
I don't know it exactly, but I know that it's crazy.
It's dumb because it can take anywhere from 3 to 14 days for them to get back to you to reset your password.
Youch.
Like, that's a little ridiculous.
Who needs a phone for 2 weeks? That's not a big deal.
Yeah, especially when, his heart monitor is connected to an app on his phone. Yeah, who needs that? But it's just one of those things where it's
Dad,
like...
I don't feel so good. Shut up, boy. Your phone hadn't said anything.
But it's like, why? Why does it take that long?
Yeah, that is one thing that I'll give you. Especially, and I'll say this, in my opinion, Apple's care for their customers has fallen off dramatically over 100%. The past probably like at least decade. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if we ever told you the story and stuff. Like when we were in college, Brooke had a MacBook because she was in graphic design stuff and everything,
which is what you use.
Yeah, and so she had a MacBook, and as she was like in the middle of doing like a big project, it crashed on her. So we take it to the Mac store, to the Genius Bar, right? Give it over to the guy and stuff. And it's like at least a year, maybe 2 years outside of warranty and stuff like that. And so we're sitting there going, oh gosh, this is going to be tons of money to get it fixed, all this kind of stuff. Dude, the guys there were phenomenal. They took it and they're like, we honestly don't know why it did what it did. It's a hard drive crash. And so they were like, typically we wouldn't be able to do anything because you're outside of warranty and stuff.
Right.
But they were like, we got you covered. Don't worry about it. So they took the old hard drive out, put a new hard drive in, loaded her up with the newest OS, which she didn't even have on the previous one, made sure that she got all of her programs and stuff back. I mean, they did everything they could short of actually being able to get her like her project back in a sense. They were phenomenal and stuff. And then, of course, recent years, I've taken MacBooks in. I have one not too long ago that was the one before this one that I'm using now. Because we run all the church's stuff off of my computer. And so I had this one that was a MacBook Pro. I loved it. It was the one that had the touch bar at the top and stuff like that. And it was actually my favorite one I've ever had. And then out of the blue, one day, the battery was just like, no, we're done.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? So take it into them. They look it over and stuff, and they're like, well, you basically have like one of two options. We can either order in a battery because this was like a 2016. No, it was newer than that. 2018 maybe, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
So it had some years on it and stuff. They're like, we don't have these batteries in right now, but we can order it in for you and stuff. And I'm like, well, how long is it going to take for you guys to get the battery in and get it changed? And they're like, oh, it's like minimum of like 3 weeks. And I was like, that doesn't fly, So what I ended up having to do was like purchasing this. Like this is like I forget which one it is, like the MacBook Air maybe. But it's like one of the lower end ones and stuff like that, which this one's fine, has tons of processing power and stuff, and it does what I needed to do. So I'm not upset about it in that respect. But we had to buy this one, and then I donated my old one to the Doylestown campus because as long as you keep it plugged in, it'll run because it's running off of power instead of off a battery.
Right.
And so they're just using it to like run a screen that runs 24/7 there anyways and stuff, and so it's just sitting and doing its thing. But I'm like, man, that was a really good computer for for me just to donate in that sense. But I don't know, it is what it is. But I get your frustrations with Apple.
It's just one of those things and I don't want to sound like hashtag first world problems and things like that, but with the advancement of AI technology with all of that, with as big as a company as Apple is, I get it, you have like, hundreds of millions of users.
Yeah.
But like, why would it take 2 weeks to reset a password?
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah. So moral of the story is make sure you have more than one recovery phone number.
Yeah.
And recovery
Save
email.
passwords, do all that stuff. Like write them down on paper somewhere.
Yes. I know that's a foreign thing for a lot of people. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was very frustrated, and then I was just like, when I finally got it, I was just so relieved because, I mean, it was annoying for him because if he needed to talk to me like while he was at school or anything, he had to borrow one of his friends' phones.
Right.
And it's like, whatever. But
hey, I'm proud of you though for finding the circumvent way to like sign into the phone and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like,
smart guy.
Well, because I had to do the same thing for Harper's phone too.
Smart and handsome.
Oh
gosh,
well, thank you.
The double whammy.
So I do have a would you rather before we kick this off. Leading into that,
we're gonna be a long time in this episode before we get to the intro.
Yeah. Wait, we do an intro?
I'm good. Yeah, what?
So
if I hit the right button.
Would you rather have every truth sound like sarcasm, or
to live with my family?
Yeah, or every lie sounds completely sincere?
I think I'd probably rather have every truth sound like sarcasm.
I mean, because
100%.
you and I are both cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Like
we speak fluent sarcasm.
Sarcasm is our love language.
That's like legitimately. I'm not talking about my immediate family as far as my wife and kid. Although my kid is pretty good at sarcasm too, but my family, my mother, father, sister, everybody on my dad's side of the family. Sarcasm is
100%.
the mode, and so it's like, yeah, I think I could survive in a world where truth was spoken as sarcasm because I could figure it out. But
there was a point in my life where it was hard for even me to determine when I was being sarcastic or not, just because it was.
There's a line somewhere in there, but I can't find out where it is.
Because it's just a natural response, especially when somebody is just being so utterly ignorant.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, no, you're doing a great job. Like it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you're doing great, dude. Mm-hmm. Now let me go fix everything you just messed up.
Yep, absolutely.
After they leave and like, oh, I'm doing great. Like,
yeah, they feel so proud of themselves.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's one of the funniest things that happened when Brooke and I got married. Is her family speaks zero sarcasm, and so I was definitely like a fish out of water in a sense when I was interacting with them early on and stuff, and it was just very humorous to me because I could say things and they would take it to the bank, and I'd have to be like, okay, I was joking about that. That's complete sarcasm and stuff, and explain it to them. Yeah, I used to crack up about it, but
yeah,
cool. That's a good question. So hey, we have our cryptid of the month today that I get to dive into.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm going to save it. No spoilers or anything, and we'll dive into it when we come back from the intro. You ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh.
I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua. Josh.
Ooh.
As we dive in today, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey.
Yeah, because it's the first of the month.
So I know that you know history stuff. So we'll talk a little bit of history real quick. In the late 1700s and the early 1800s. Yeah, just a few years ago. Back when we were young lads.
When I was a young warthog.
You could smell his aroma like a certain field. So anyways, in the late 1700s, early 1800s, there were tons of German immigrants that were settling in Western Maryland, right?
Yeah.
So if for those of you that don't know, if you kind of go back and do some studying on your American history, right after we won our independence from Great Britain, there was this kind of like flood of different cultures and people from primarily Europe, but other places around the world that started coming to America. And so they started making these different settlements in different places. And so Western Maryland was a hot spot for Germans to come and find a space to kind of call their own. So they brought with them much of the kind of German culture, right? So not just, not just the beer, not just the lederhosen and the schnitzel and all that kind of stuff.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzels, yeah. No, but they also brought with them a lot of their lore surrounding monsters and stuff, right? So in Germany, there were all kinds of stories about these like really fast-moving ghosts and quick spirits in that sense, like things that would kind of show up places, witches, night flyers, as they called them. And so I didn't do a deep dive into night flyers yet, but maybe we'll look into that more in the future. Demons of the forest, all those kinds of things. Like, so like typical European stuff, right? In a sense.
Well, and we've talked about it too. Like every culture has a similar cryptid or similar like vein of things where like the Yeti is a really good example,
right? Because the Yeti and Bigfoot and all the ones that are kind of in that category span across
skunk ape and all that kind of stuff. Like so
they bring all these kind of stories with them. Now let's dive into a little bit of a story, not too long of a story, but a story about a family that came to settle in Frederick County, Maryland. There's a valley there where a family came and settled, and as they were kind of getting settled in, they kind of get everything put together. So they've been there now. They've built a cabin. They're beginning to get like their animals and stuff set up. They're starting to get to the point where they can farm the land, doing all this kind of stuff, right? And some strange things start to happen around the farm. The first thing that popped up was that the family's dairy cow was found one morning as they went out. They heard noises and stuff. They go out and they find the cow laying on its side with large gashes in the side that was up, right? So like if it was laying on its left side, then its right side had big gashes in it. Not dead. None of its meat had been consumed in a sense. It was just gashed open. Yeah, just attacked, but like not killed.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so when the father and son of this family kind of examine the cow, they're like, okay, the scrapes didn't go deep enough to like get any internal organs or anything like that. It clearly was like attacked, but it almost looked like something had grabbed the cow and tried to carry it off.
Like a big bird, or
we'll get there.
Okay.
A week later, 3 chickens are found dead in the yard outside of the farmhouse. Now, these 3 chickens that are dead are completely drained of their blood. And I mean, like, to the point that in all the stories we're going to talk about today, that there's a dead animal, there's not a drop of blood left in them.
So aliens got it. Okay.
We'll see. The funny thing about this one, though, is like with the chickens and with the cow, there's no tracks.
Okay.
There were no animal sounds, right? So you would expect, like, if it was wolves or something like that, though, you would have heard howling, growling, any of that kind of stuff, some kind of attack. Plus, wolves are not known for very neatly draining the blood out of animals and leaving the meat and stuff behind. So the only thing that they would find is strange-looking, long, gouging marks in the snow around where the chickens were. So soon after this, we hear screams in the night.
Ooh.
A young man is outside splitting firewood in the evening when suddenly he hears this shriek unlike any animal he's ever heard of. Like the way that they described it was basically like that the sky was split by this shriek that came from this creature.
Skinwalkers.
As he reels and falls backwards to the ground, he looks up in the sky to see an enormous creature with an incredible wing spread fly over his head.
Okay.
He said now this is his account to begin with. It said it had a long neck, a beak that looked like it was made out of hammered iron, the body of a great serpent or an eagle. We'll get to that part. I know.
Those are two
Two opposite ends of the spectrum. I thought the same thing. This is how he described it. The only thing I'm thinking in that instance is that he either saw like shimmering feathers and thought that maybe they looked like scales,
right,
or vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he couldn't really like make it out in the moonlight. And then the distinctive feature was there was a single large red eye in the middle of this thing's head that peered right into this young man's soul.
So a cycloptic pterodactyl. Got it.
Yep, yeah, you're not wrong. So the creature, after flying overhead, dives in, lands on the roof of their farmhouse, and digs its claws into the beam on the top of the roof, right? To the point that they said you could hear the wood
like
creaking under its power and stuff. Yeah. And so that's when the young man's father, having heard him scream outside and then seeing the roof, like, you know, you can almost imagine kind of like the dust and stuff is shaking. He sees the roof beam kind of cracking and stuff. So he takes his musket and fires it off into the ceiling of the house. And so the room is filled with smoke.
Hopefully it was a one-story house. It wasn't just firing aimlessly.
No. It was one story.
Second floor.
But he shoots into the ceiling in the house. You know, the musket goes off, all this kind of stuff. The creature shrieks again. So, like, the father had heard the shriek the first time, hears it again, and then the creature flies off, flies down over the top of the trees and up into the mountains on the other side of the valley. So, the family of Air Rausch had just witnessed the first sighting of the Snallygaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't think the Snallygaster was a big bird. Like,
so not so much bird. Like, to call it a bird would be like a really weird kind of misnomer for it. We'll get into more details about like kind of what it looks like and stuff, because bird-like is part of the
bird
description.
Adjacent.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to it. Like I'll kind of give it away ahead of time. The Snallygaster is put into a category of what's called a chimera.
Oh, okay.
So the chimera, for those of you who maybe don't know the background of it, the idea of a chimera, like way back in the day for ancient civilizations and stuff like that, was the chimera was kind of this conglomerate of different types of animals, right?
Right. And so, there are different types of chimera. Like there's like the lion, eagle, like wouldn't technically a griffin be a chimera? Yeah.
So a griffin, if you think it like it has talons, it has the head of like an eagle, basically the wings of an eagle, but then like the body of a lion, right? And some griffins, they even like depicted them with tails that were like snakes or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think about like taking different aspects of a bunch of different animals, melding them together, and creating something completely of its own thing. So that's what a chimera is. And so the Snallygaster kind of falls into this category of what the ancients would have called the chimera. So the Snallygaster is a legendary creature said to haunt the rural areas of Maryland, especially Frederick County and what's called Middletown Valley. Okay. So that's the valley where Air Rausch, who by the way is a real family, is a real guy.
Yeah.
He settled there back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and supposedly the Rausch family was the first family to see the Snallygaster, to like have an interaction with it. Not the last by any means.
Right.
So,
I wonder if that's the same like Rausch. Is it spelled like Rausch, like Roach?
It's Rausch.
Oh, like the car company.
Yeah, like Rausch Mustangs, basically. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, so the name for the Snallygaster is actually a derivation from the German name, which was Schnellergeist.
Okay.
The Schnellergeist meant quick spirit or quick ghost. So this was kind of a continuation of that kind of feeling of the ancient lore from back over in Germany and stuff that they brought with them and everything. So over time, the Schnellergeist eventually kind of, being in America now, how we do with the American language.
Yeah. It's our word now.
Kind of slowly slid into being the Snallygaster, which I think I prefer better anyways. But so the descriptions about what it looks like, So there's a lot of them that have come from different witnesses over time, because the Snallygaster actually, like, its stories span from basically the early 1800s, the first time that the Roush family sees the Snallygaster, all the way until 1912 is kind of the last time that we see like a really big cycle of stories about the Snallygaster and stuff. So in those stories, here's some of the different descriptions that it was given. It's huge, first off. Like everybody agrees on that part of it. But some say it has a bird-like huge body, or some say it has a reptilian-like huge body.
Okay.
And so the way that I kind of heard it described is like not so much in the tail all the time, but in the body part of it, that it was very much like alligator. I'm trying to think of like other like the Komodo dragons.
Yeah.
Those larger lizards kind of.
So it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, to a degree.
Well,
like,
I mean, because dinosaurs had feathers.
There's a lot of other weird things about it, though. So,
Dragon.
So its wings, because so we're thinking like, okay, they had feathers, right? The wings are always described as being featherless, so they
like bat-like,
bat or pterodactyl-like, right? So that's how most of them are describing it. It had a long, pointed, even metallic-looking beak, was the way that its beak was described. And so, thinking, I'm assuming it was a grayish, maybe silver color, and that's what gave it kind of the metallic look to it, or whatever. Razor-sharp teeth, claws, or tentacles. So that was where the tentacle part of it came in. Primarily in the later descriptions. Early on, it was claws and stuff like that, like what we saw with the cow. The deep gashes and everything were the claws of the Snallygaster trying to like pick the cow up off the ground.
Which,
I'm
just trying to think, like, if it is as big as they said it was, because like, do they have a description of like how big it was comparative to the house?
No, I never saw like a definitive thing.
Because I'm trying to think of the unladen carrying capacity of the bird. And
What is the carrying capacity of an unladen Snallygaster? Was that a European Snallygaster or an African Snallygaster? So when we think about the size wise, though, you got to think like everybody describes it as huge,
right?
And the thing tried to carry a cow off,
right? So it is large. Like
I'm thinking it's real big, because you think about it, if it's got the wingspan that it thinks that it can lift a cow,
right,
and hold it in its talons and stuff like that while it's going, then that's a pretty good sized creature. So I mean, plus it was like crushing the roof of the farmhouse and stuff like that when they came in, which, by the way, for what it's worth, the Roush family were the only ones to see the Snallygaster in that instance. But they brought neighbors over like in the following days
to look,
who
to like
saw
see
the roof of the house and confirmed like there was legitimately something happened, but they didn't know what, like, because the Snallygaster sounded pretty crazy.
Right.
One giant glowing red eye is what vast majority of the accounts said. Later reports got really wild by saying that it had squid-like appendages. So going back to the tentacle thing, there's along those lines, to make it even weirder, sometimes people would claim that it had octopus tentacles dangling from its neck, which some people think were some form of thing to help it like drain blood, right? So
I mean that does make sense. Like if it is, draining blood and things like that would facilitate that.
I kind of think of it like almost like leech like in a sense.
Yeah,
like it would wrap those around the prey, suck the blood out from the skin, basically, that type of deal. And then they said its screeches were like a train whistle or like a woman screaming, like really high pitch, very abrasive kind of sound in a sense.
Just quick side change on my dinosaur thing. They wouldn't have known what dinosaurs were, actually, because they weren't really discovered until around this time period.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my comparison went out the window.
Maybe it was the last of the dinosaurs.
It flew back to the other side of the earth.
So the Snallygaster, I just caught what you said. Going back to our coin theory of the Earth. So in 1909 and 1912, there's this really funny thing that happens, right? Because we've gone now from the early 1800s into the early 1900s. And all of a sudden, newspapers start picking up stories of the Snallygaster in Western Maryland and circulating them as reality. And so, like, this is where the Snallygaster goes from, like, folklore to, like, cryptid, chaos, right? Like real cryptid chaos, stuff. Yeah. So local newspapers in Frederick and surrounding towns started printing sightings, and it has it in quotation marks, and they didn't hold back anything. They reported the Snallygaster as attacking livestock, swooping down at trains, carrying off chickens and other like things from people's yards, shrieking over the mountains so people were hearing it. Like, you know, they're reporting this anyways, that it's like flying over the mountains, people were hearing it, stuff, scratching on rooftops. So like people claiming that they would hear it, a loud thud like land on their roof, and then the claws like scratching at the top of the house and all this kind of stuff. Animals being drained of their blood is like the common one, right? So any animal that was found dead that's supposedly related to the Snallygaster, completely drained of its blood. And then it was said in these reports that the Snallygaster was like chasing entire families, and so it's like families would be out, you know, in the woods or whatever and stuff like that, and this thing would just appear and chase them down and stuff like that. Although no person ever died from the Snallygaster,
right,
that we're aware of. Just these reports of it kind of like terrifying people and stuff, which I know like we've talked about this before, and we'll reiterate this now in a sense. We've listened to Haunted Cosmos a lot. In Haunted Cosmos, which I agree with them, they talk about that a lot of times with these cryptids and stuff, that one of the big things that's most likely happening is that it is demonic forces, in a sense, who are trying to keep people living in a state of fear or anxiety and stuff. And so they're, you know, manifesting themselves in some way to make this like terrifying creature.
Because, I mean, there's always that inherent sense of dread and things like that accompany a lot of these cryptids or unexplained phenomena and things like that. And
this one seems to be that, like, because again, I don't believe necessarily, like, I believe in demon possession for human beings, right? That if you're not a believer in Jesus Christ, you're not indwelled by the Holy Spirit. If you're not indwelled with the Spirit, then demons can possess your body. I believe in that. But I think a lot of times what the forces of evil will do, in a sense, to keep us in a state of fear, is they'll affect the things around us. Right. And so, you know, like all these animals being drained of their blood and stuff like that, it's pretty fear-inducing, right? Because you're thinking like, oh, there's something pretty rough out there. So there's also a bunch of stories about that people told, like outside of just these news reports. There's a railroad attack. A train crew claimed that something huge swooped down at them in the middle of the night. It struck the locomotive, scraped the metal from the roof, basically, and left like deep claw marks on the side of the train and stuff. And they described it as a giant winged creature with a long bill and a terrible cry. So kind of fitting into the Snallygaster thing. The farmhouse incident. So a farmer reported that he had dead chickens that were drained of their blood, strange puncture wounds in different animals, other animals that have been completely drained of their blood, like the cows and horses, massive tracks around his barn. And then the newspaper like immediately farmed this out as the work of the Snallygaster, right? So the newspapers were waiting for the opportunities to jump on anything they could relate to the Snallygaster in any way. Some people said they saw 7-toed footprints. So, like, instead of having like a traditional 5 toes, or, you know, I'm not very good at remembering how many toes different animals have, but instead of like traditional footprints, they would find these ones that had 7 toes that were 18 inches long each, and that went through like muddy fields and stuff like that around the area. Several families claimed that they had what was called a roof screamer. Something that landed on their roofs at night, the loud scraping, the shrieking, the flapping of big wings that went on for weeks, that people would hear this at nighttime and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, it's almost like the Snallygaster like had certain spots where he would fly, get tired, land on somebody's roof, and then flap his wings, take off again. The blood drain animals all over the place, stuff. So all those things are kind of the typical ones. So here's probably one of my favorite parts of this. As I was doing the research for the Snallygaster, is it's cool to hear all these descriptions, kind of think through what it was, why it was so terrifying and stuff. Apparently, at that point in time, Theodore Roosevelt got wind of the Snallygaster stories from these newspaper articles and stuff.
Oh, good old Teddy.
And Teddy, he likes to hunt.
Oh, yeah.
So rumor was that Teddy had actually was packing his stuff up and getting ready to go hunt the Snallygaster.
Heck yeah.
And basically some of the guys who were other higher ups in the United States government had to go and tell him, we don't think this is a good idea.
Time out, Teddy.
Sir, maybe you should just calm it down a little bit, But no, Teddy was ready to go murk the Snallygaster for his trophy collection and for the safety of the American people, right? So there's a bunch of different things about was it real? I mean, probably not, right? We can kind of see from the stories, this doesn't seem like something that's based out of reality. That maybe it was just, maybe it's just German people who are out in the middle of nowhere that their minds are just running wild. Maybe it's just fear or whatever. So here's some theories. Some say that it's exaggerated owl sightings.
That's a big freaking owl.
That's a massive owl. That's breaking the beams of roofs and stuff. Some people think that it could have been giant turkey vultures, which we've talked about them before. That'd be great. Just massive versions of that. Some people said sandhill cranes, which, I mean, it's possible in Maryland because they're not that far from the sea, but at the same time, sandhill cranes.
Yeah, that's Mothman.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So escaped zoo animals.
What kind of zoo are you keeping?
That's what I was wondering. I'm sitting there going I mean, other than the sandhill crane and stuff
I was gonna say,
that,
if that's the kind of animals that you're keeping, zoos have gone downhill.
Yeah, oh yeah. We need to do better, Cleveland Zoo.
Right.
So some people said hoaxes, maybe it was just teenagers or young adults playing tricks on people, which I'm
sure, okay,
yeah, I know I'd be strong enough to bend the beam of a house and stuff and pick up a cow and all that. This just seems weird in that sense, but a lot of people said especially for the 1900s that it was just newspaper sensationalism, which is
I mean, that's fair.
Especially living in our day and age, we can see that the media is definitely not the most responsible. Could have been people just bored during rural winters and making up stories, which is plausible as well. And then just kids messing with adults, like we said, hoaxes and stuff. So most historians think that the 1909 wave, so 1909 to 1912, was intentionally just inflated journalism because things were slow and they needed stuff to report on. So that is the story of the Snallygaster. There, like I said, there's a bunch of different stories from the newspapers and stuff, but the only story that was ever kind of corroborated in any way was the story from the Roush family that was in Frederick County, Maryland.
Interesting. Yeah, like I said, for some reason I didn't think of the Snallygaster as that. I don't know what my mind was thinking about the Snallygaster, but it wasn't that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because I've heard of it and obviously doing deep dives and all that kind of stuff. It's come across, but I guess I just never.
Yeah, I think for me, with the Snallygaster, that I was always kind of I don't know, something about the name Snallygaster. It almost sounds kind of funny and stuff, and so I never really I don't know, I never had a good envisionment in my mind of what it would look like and what it would be like. But if you type in Snallygaster and look at the images that people have drawn up of it and stuff, it's an interesting looking creature.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. It's almost if you guys should Google it out there if you're listening and take a look at it. But many of the pictures have this kind of a hybrid between what we would consider a dragon and an eagle, because it has feathers and stuff on some of them. And then a lot of them have like those the tentacle things like coming out of its mouth.
Right, more like Cthulhu.
Yeah, Cthulhu, like that, very very much that kind of feel. And so it's a very interesting looking creature with its single red eye and stuff like that. Just kind of fascinating looking, kind of definitely terrifying. I would say that much. Like if I saw this bad boy out in the woods at nighttime when I was out chopping wood, I think I would have freaked out too. So that's the Snallygaster.
Nice. So I was thinking, and I know we've talked about this like kind of in passing, but I, me being me, what would your last meal be?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Because I know we've talked about it, and like, so I kind of looked up like famous inmates, death row inmates last meals. So I have a list, and honestly, we need to look into this. Like, why do most serial killers like have 3 names?
Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
So
yeah. So there's a link between the multiple name thing and a link between just I don't know how to say this other than just to kind of like bluntly say it, but looking like the whitest person I know.
Oh, of course.
Like every time. I don't understand what it is about like being a serial killer. They just have this kind of air about them as though it's like, oh, like you are by far the whitest person that anybody in your life has ever met. And I don't say that as like a diss or anything. I'm just saying like that seems like the reality of it in a sense for me. But
right. So I looked up and it gave me some famous like.
Yeah,
people.
Let's hear them. I gotta think through mine because I have some ideas. But
so we'll start off with one of the more famous ones. So John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
The clown killer.
Yep.
Okay. So his was 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries, and a pound of strawberries.
A pound of strawberries?
Yes.
Okay.
So then we have...
That's a weird one to me.
And I don't know where this one is.
I can tell you this. There will be nothing healthy in mine.
100%.
I'm going to die anyways.
Nicola Sarko and Bartholomew Vanzetti both had just a simple meal of soup, meat, toast, and tea. Philip Ray Workman declined actually a personal meal and instead asked for a large vegetarian pizza to be given to a homeless person. The prison actually refused this.
Really?
And then gave it to, or then they eventually relented and then did it anyway.
I was about to say, like, why would you not do that for somebody if it's like their dying wish?
Then you have Thomas Joseph Grazzo, which was spaghetti with meatballs, a Burger King double cheeseburger, a dozen steamed clams,
ew,
half a dozen barbecue ribs, a strawberry milkshake, pumpkin pie with whipped cream, and canned spaghetti.
Oh, that man went out on top.
Yeah. Then you have Ronnie Lee Gardner, steak, lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and 7-Up while he watched all of the Lord of the Rings films for 36 hours before his execution.
What year was that in?
It had to have been semi-recently.
Yeah, I was about to say, not too long ago then. That's hilarious.
Paul Ezra Rhodes was hot dogs with sauerkraut and condiments, baked beans, veggie sticks with ranch, fruit with Jell-O, and strawberry ice cream cups. Benjamin Ritchie asked for a tour of Italy combo from Olive Garden. So fettuccine Alfredo, lasagna, and chicken parm.
That guy would be Sky's best friend. She loves Olive Garden.
John Arnold, a sub sandwich, tossed salad, French fries, and a vanilla milkshake, and he shared that with his attorneys. David Earl Miller.
He shared it with his attorneys?
Yeah.
Just to be clear, his attorneys were not good enough to get him off of death row, and he shared the meal with them.
Right.
That's an interesting one.
And then David Earl Miller, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, biscuits, and coffee.
Okay. I got respect on that one.
We also have Lawrence Russell Brewer. He infamously ordered a huge spread, multiple chicken fried steaks, a triple bacon cheeseburger, fajitas, pizza, desserts, sodas, and then he refused to eat it. So he ordered all of this food.
Yeah.
And then was like, nah, I'm good.
He's like, stick it to the man one more time before he goes.
Yeah. This led to the Texas State Correctional Facilities, to end special last request meals. So they just have a very basic last meal with that.
What's the basic last meal? Do they have like laid out for us?
Give me
like,
one.
like steak, potato, one vegetable.
Yeah, it's something. It's something
drink.
very. Yeah, it's something very
super generic in a sense. Yeah, because I was trying to think through like the things that I would want on my last meal. Man, that's more difficult than you think, right? Because like there's so much out there that's like a good possibility in a sense of like the individual pieces. But I'm also like one of those people that, like, I don't like to waste food.
Right.
I think even in my last meal, I wouldn't want to like waste anything. So I'm trying to like think, how do I partition things out so that I can have everything that I want, but not leave it behind.
So since this happened, and this was in 2011, Texas death row inmates in the Huntsville unit received the same standard prison meal as everyone else on execution day. So whatever day it is, that's the last meal you get.
Really?
Yes.
That sucks.
So it's like chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, bread, and dessert. No custom orders.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if somebody's on death row, they don't deserve, I'm assuming, the last meal thing. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like they're a human being.
Right.
If they're going to go out,
So here was his exact order. So it was 2 chicken fried steaks smothered in gravy and onions, a triple bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet stuffed with ground beef and jalapenos, fried okra, a pound of barbecue with white bread, fajitas, and a meat lover's pizza, ice cream, peanut butter fudge, and root beer.
I mean, other than the root beer, sound like the guy had good taste.
I know, right? Yeah, it was actually probably a Dr. Pepper, but anyway.
Yeah, right.
So that got me thinking. Like I said, like what would your final meal? And then I also have some historical figures last meals, what they actually ate before they died. Like JFK at breakfast before heading to Dallas in a convertible, which is stupid. He had 2 boiled eggs with toast with marmalade, coffee, and orange juice.
Okay.
Michael Jackson's final meal before he passed away was a spinach salad with chicken breast, basically, and that's all he
See,
ate.
That's one of my things. I just don't want to go out after eating something healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like,
yeah. Like that.
Like, yeah. You get to heaven and they're like, "Oh, hey, what was your last meal?" And you're like, "Oh, spinach salad with chicken breast." And they're like, "For real?"
Like that's it.
Yeah, come on, bro.
And then Gandhi's last meal, goat's milk, cooked vegetables, oranges, and a drink made from ginger, sour lemons, and ghee mixed with aloe juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but
no.
More power to you, bro.
Right.
All right, let's talk about our last meals then. So, for me, man, I was like really like racking my brain trying to think this through. I want really good Bojangles fried chicken.
Okay.
Your ribs.
Okay.
It's for everybody out there listening. I've bragged on these before. Josh makes phenomenal ribs. They're so good. Like, I don't even like ribs, and I like his, so that should tell you something about it.
I take that as a gracious compliment.
Those would be like those 2 for the meats. Although I'd have a hard time not also. Oh man, see, there's like so many things.
Right.
As I think it through, like as just a few pieces, small pieces. I would love some good old fashioned fatback, like my mom used to cook for me. That stuff is just hard to beat. I would want really good collard greens.
Oh,
like cooked with the bacon and stuff in them, with some hot pepper vinegar to put on those. I want barbecue potatoes, which is like a thing that we make in the South, to go along with it. Man, Texas Roadhouse rolls with that honey butter stuff. Yeah. And for dessert, probably a really good cheesecake. I know you don't like cheesecake. Yeah, I know you don't like cheesecake, but I love cheesecake. And to drink, I want both a cherry sundrop and sweet tea.
Yep. I saw that one coming.
Yeah.
See, mine would have to be I'm going steak.
Okay.
There's a place called Logan's.
Steakhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, I know Logan's.
Yeah, I think by far they have the best steak of any like chain.
Okay.
Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Like
Logan's is where we used to have our car club meetings when I was in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah, but they're none around here,
yeah.
which sucks. Like there was one in Holland, where I went to school. So
I liked Logan's. That was like the one time that I splurged every week was we had our car club meetings, and I would usually because I was broke as a joke at that point in time. But that's usually I would get a steak there.
Yeah.
And
so a big steak from Logan's. I'd probably do my ribs with get barbecue sauce from Longhorn. I do like their barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Their barbecue sauce is really good. Probably like a loaded baked potato with like bacon, chives, cheese, sour cream.
Choice. I like loaded baked potatoes too.
Then I'd probably have to go with roasted asparagus. Love me some roasted asparagus.
That's good.
Some cowboy beans. And then probably like some sort of cobbler.
Okay. There you go.
Like a fresh peach cobbler. Or my mom
peach or blueberry cobbler.
My mom makes a strawberry rhubarb cobbler.
Okay.
That's out of this world.
Nice.
And then probably just I would want to have like one of the off the wall like energy drinks from like no, like from that ones you can't get around here.
Yeah. You could throw some stuff back, like having some Surge before I die.
Oh yeah.
Would be killer
some
too.
Surge, some Josta.
Josta. I never had Josta.
Really? Yeah. Josta was one of the ones I really liked. Some Volt.
Yeah, if we can go retroactive and find some stuff, there's some things from the past I'd love to throw in there too.
But yeah, like so I would say like semi-simple, but just like and not like huge amounts of each, just like a little bit of each.
Yeah, that's what I want for mine.
Yeah.
I would probably add more things on if I could like super limit the amounts of them and stuff, but then there's certain things too though that I would like I just want to gorge myself on.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm going to go die, like I might as well have a full belly and high octane on sugar and all that kind of stuff. So get some good caffeine in you.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
You're like, they're like, hey, what are you going to do? Like, they're taking me to kill me, but I feel great about it. I'm super pumped.
But yeah, I was just, I know we had talked about it in the past and was like,
no, that's a good one. Yeah. Like I'd have to think more on if there's any things that I would like trade out some of those for, but that's like, as I think through, cause I was kind of like, my thought process on it was, what are the first things that come to mind, right? For each category of like a meat, vegetables, those kinds of things. What are the first things that come to my mind when I think about those things? And those were the ones that like what I said were like the top of the line things for me and stuff. And so there might be some other things that I would want to throw on there, but a couple of deviled eggs made with my aunt's pickles that she does.
Okay.
Because she makes these really sweet pickles, and when you put those in with the deviled egg stuff, it makes them phenomenal. So some of those would be pretty killer too.
Yeah.
But that'd be the only thing. That's the only thing I can think of right now that I would add on. So yeah, I would be stuffed to the gills, but I'd be happy about my dying with my full belly in that sense. So
for sure.
Okay, for all of you guys that are out there listening, tell us what your last meal would consist of. So you need to go on. We'll have a post up this week. So take the opportunity to jump on that post and leave us a comment saying, here's all the different things. Like list them out. You got to give us at least the minimums are you got to have one meat or I'll substitute like a casserole or something like that or a soup if you're in on those things. But one like meat thing, vegetables, breads, desserts. You got to think about the different categories. You give us something like at least one thing in each of those categories because we'd love to see what you guys would put together as your last meals. Maybe you'll influence ours. Maybe I'll change something out of mine.
Oh, also, I forgot about bread. I forget, they come in like one of the yellow boxes.
Logan's had some pretty dope bread.
Yeah, they did. It's like a garlic bread, but it's made from ciabatta.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the best. It's the same people that make like the Texas toast and things like that, like in the freezer section. But yeah, that stuff is killer.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know in the comments. And as always, you can find the link to all of our socials in our post on whatever platform you're listening to. We have our link tree. So go ahead and click on all those links, do all the buttons, like, share, subscribe, download.
All the buttons.
If you guys listen to our podcast but don't download the episodes, go ahead and just download the episodes. Even if you don't listen to them, as long as you download them, it helps us in the algorithm and it kind of pushes us into different categories and things like that.
Yeah, if you set your stuff to auto-download it, that would help us out a lot, so we'd appreciate that. But yeah, find the link down below. Go check everything out and stuff. stuff like that. Like, follow, subscribe, all those good things. Share all the stuff that you can do. And other than that, we hope that you guys have a great rest of your week this week. We hope maybe we started off on a little bit of a fun and cryptid kick a little bit.
Yep.
And that you guys will have a good week. And we will see you guys in the next episode. We love you. Bye. Touch the button, monkey. I almost always forget it.
AI is dying.
AI is dying?
Yeah, you haven't heard that?
No.
Yeah, ChatGPT said it's going to be completely bankrupt by 2027.
Oh, well, ChatGPT will, but every other AI.
Every other is kind of falling. Like OpenAI is going to be bankrupt by 2027. Yep. They're not generating enough for what they're producing.
Oh, because nobody's paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to start running ads. So they're going to start getting ads to ChatGPT.
It's just what we need. Yeah.